So what happens when you combine Far Cry Primal, Assassin's Creed, and sprinkle a bit of Horizon Forbidden West on top? Well, you get Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. Set in the same lush, vibrant universe as James Cameron's movies, Frontiers brings its own Ubisoft twist while putting us through the eyes of our very own Na'vi characters. That's why today we'll take on a massive preview and dive in with absolutely everything you need to know before playing. Also, a quick reminder that I'm doing a giveaway for Avatar's Frontiers of Pandora on my Discord server. You can find the invite link down below, and all you have to do is to be a subscriber of the channel as well as leaving a like on this video. Now, the game is primarily played as a first-person action-adventure, which will give you a more immersive way to experience the massive open world of Pandora, from its inhabitants to its crazy alien life, all the way to the dense and vast jungles. You don't, however, need to have watched the movies to understand its plot, as the story takes place around the same time as The Way of Water, but on a completely different continent on the western frontier. You will get to create your very own Na'vi character from the start, and their backstory is that 15 years prior, during the assault of the Tree of Souls, the RDA kidnapped a bunch of Na'vi children in an attempt to turn them against their own species. However, they were later on rescued and eventually set free. Being an outsider now means that you'll have to reconnect to your lost heritage and former tribes, but you'll also get to put your human training to good use to take down the RDA. Now, the game does build on that Far Cry formula, so you will have the familiar open world with outposts to take on, loot to collect, and things to craft. However, Ubisoft does add a few cool new twists. So just like in the movies, you will also get to tame and even ride various creatures, both flying and land-based. The most significant being, of course, the bond that you'll get to form with your very own flying banshee called Ikran that you can even name via an early on mission. Flying controls are quite straightforward. You can boost to gain more speed, dive, hover, and even land anywhere in the game. There's even low-level flying like skimming over water, pulling off air tricks, and even offering different wind resistances and environment reactions when going through these. Plus, there are ways to customize the Ikran to change its appearance with different armors. But you won't just get to fly it, there's also aerial combat. You can raid many of the RDA hovercopters or destroy aerial devices to stop their signals. Going into hover mode will give you more precision, but you don't really want to linger for too long as this is going to make you an easy target. Or you can dismount mid-air and pull off some really cool tricks. You can totally do so and shoot down your enemies that way before recalling your Ikran and riding away to safety. And speaking of combat, your Na'vi instincts coupled with your training in human weaponry gives you a unique way to tackle challenges. Possibly the most unique aspect is that you can highlight and disable enemy powers very similar to the Horizon games. Especially for the more dangerous mechanized units, you can target stuff like exhaust fans, back-mounted weaponry, or even like directly the pilot for a swifter takedown. There are two main ways to approach combat in Frontiers of Pandora. One is the more stealthy approach using the Na'vi-themed weapons, including various bows, ranged spears, and even staff slings. This also is the most rewarding as it lets you take down enemies without alerting the entire base. On the other side, we have the very loud but equally as destructive human weapons, mostly for when all hell breaks loose, including assault rifles, shotguns, RPGs, and even stun grenades. You can of course quickly switch between these at any point via the weapon selection wheel like in most Far Cry games. But another similarity with the Horizon games here is that this is also the place you can quick craft additional ammo such as arrows when needed. In fact, even within the bow category there are multiple types that can fit different combat styles. So besides the more balanced long bow, you also have a heavy bow which acts more like a slow sniper rifle, and then there's also the short bow for higher rate of fire, almost like a machine gun of sorts. But sabotage is another great way to deal with enemies. Human mech suits can be hacked into by completing a quick minigame with one of the tools provided by the game, and then you can quickly unleash that whenever you need it to momentarily disable that target completely, which in turn will also let you quickly take down the human inside without alerting anybody else. But on the ground level, being a 10 feet tall, agile creature, the Na'vi are perfectly made to navigate the dense jungles of Pandora quickly and efficiently. While not technically Assassin's Creed parkour, your character will be able to run, jump, slide, and sprint very swiftly and very organically. Abilities such as the double jump will let you reach platforms you thought impossible otherwise, plus there are many ways to, have the environment boost you up in different directions. With a lot of springboard plants, launching leaves, and vine lifts, you can reach about any area you set your eyes on. The game is really massive and there are very few restrictions when it comes to traversing it. At the same time, you can also interact with many of the puzzle-like plants to retract or even open up a new path ahead when being blocked. And of course, if you enjoyed the video up until now, a thumbs up would really go a long way. Now, the open world of Frontiers is massive and you can easily get lost in the massive jungles of lush vegetation. That's why the game offers two ways to navigate. There's a guided mode which displays waypoints and map markers on the screen to help you better navigate through it. Or you can choose the more hardcore exploration mode, which presents no icons, is much more difficult to navigate, but provides even more immersion. However, your Navi senses, which is kind of like your environmental scanner, will help you a lot with the dense environments by highlighting any collectibles, points of interest, targets, and other locations of interest. Throughout your jungle encounters, you'll stumble upon lots of things that will spark your curiosity. In fact, the alien fauna is just as unique as the tribes of other Navi also traveling the planet's dense environments. There are many open-world quests and dynamic events to take part in that you can easily stumble upon randomly, from helping other tribesmen, which will increase your reputation with them, to helping creatures in distress being tagged by the RDA. It's not only the indigenous creatures you'll find here, but also the invading human outposts. Large industrial settlements that pollute the planet and extract its resources. These are heavily guarded by enemies but will entice you to take them down. This is your standard open world Far Cry enemy camps, and just like before, it offers a lot of ways to sabotage them. So you can easily infiltrate them in various ways and then hack into the comms to disable any reinforcements, which is done oftentimes via this hacking minigame. In it, you will have to navigate through an electronic maze without triggering the alarm, but it's gonna be worth it as you don't have to fight as many enemies. There are of course many other things to disable and sabotage to eventually bring down the platforms at its knees and reclaim the land. This is in fact one of the best ways to gain extra loot and resources at the end of it. Plus, it's also going to clean up the pollution left behind by the invading forces. You'll actively see the pollution disappearing on both the map as well as later on if you revisit the same places. But later on, once we hit the max level cap of 20, hardcore fortresses will start spawning for extra replayability and even better loot. However, they will also provide a much tougher challenge, which is why you're gonna want to be ready for that. Now, another fundamental aspect of Frontiers of Pandora is its harvesting system. This is where your Navi senses help by highlighting the things that you can pick up in the environment. Just like previous Far Cry games like Primal, there's a lot of collecting in this game as well, which is then funneled into crafting. From plants, fruits, tree branches and such, which you'll also need to consume to replenish your HP, craft ammo or even unique gear and weapons. The collecting pickup minigame is a bit more complex than usual, and it's not simply done by a press of a button, but in fact it involves a bit more, usually rotating the joystick to the correct angle before being able to collect that item you need in the first place. You can think of it as kinda like a lock-picking minigame of sorts. There are even bonuses to collecting items, such as doing it during certain times of day or doing it flawlessly, which in turn you will need if you want to craft the highest quality gear and weapons. There are various items and consumables to craft in Frontiers of Pandora, so for those who love the survival aspects, you should feel right at home. In addition to this, your Navi senses will also let you reveal animal scent trails, which is great for tracking and hunting them. In fact, hunting is yet another important aspect of this game, and similar to other titles such as Red Dead Redemption, creatures need to be honorably killed with a proper bow to not spoil the meat. Hitting them in their weak points isn't just going to drop them faster, but also result in cleaner kills. The cooking minigame will of course let you then combine the quality meat that you extract out of them with the various herbs that you can find out in the wild and create a variety of foods very similar to the way you do it in Legend of Zelda. Plus, recipes get automatically saved too if you want to use them in the future. Other creature parts, on the other hand, can be used at weapon or crafting benches to create new gear of different rarities with different special perks. Now, Frontiers of Pandora also features a number of RPG systems, including a skill tree, if not multiple of them, as well as skills we can pick off, either via leveling as well as via some of these plants that can be found specially out in the wild. However, not much info is known about it, as Ubisoft has been rather secretive about it until now. Now, the main story is said to be rather linear and not offer any branching narratives. However, there is a lot of post-launch content coming up in the form of new missions and story expansions if you also get the Season Pass. So launch day, we will all get the bonus quest called Familiar Echoes, which will have us infiltrate a highly secured RDA military base and hack their classified data to sabotage them from inside. Then the first story DLC called the Skybreaker is set to launch in summer 2024. During this, a mysterious shadow looms in the sky, threatening the Na'vi clans below as they are celebrating the Great Festival. Second story DLC called Secrets of the Spires is then scheduled for fall 2024, and in this one we'll have to engage in an epic aerial combat to uncover the secrets of this completely new canyon region and restore the peace before it's too late. On top of these, Season Pass also drops with a unique gear bundle, which includes a unique item set for our Na'vi characters, as well as a cosmetic set for the mounts. There's also the pre-order bonus, which you will also get with that copy that I'm giving away for the Child of the Two Worlds pack. This is yet another armor for our characters. And if you get the game on the PlayStation 5, there's an additional one called the Aranahe Warrior pack that everyone will get for absolutely free on the PlayStation 5. Anyway, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora launches on December 7th on the PC, PlayStation 5 as well as Xbox Series X and S, so just a few more weeks until then. At the same time, the game also launches with all the current and next-gen graphical improvements, from these ray trace reflections and shadows, AMD FSR 2.0, as well as ultra-wide resolution support, and you can of course change these settings and even have the PC benchmark tools to help you out for the best of them. Additionally, the game sounds are set to be on a whole nother level. There's no looping of sound effects when it comes to the ambience, each area sounding different depending on the time of day. Plus, there's 3D planned sound as you move around these plants. They will sound differently depending on the orientation and the way the wind blows. It's not only on the PlayStation 5 but on all platforms. However, it's the PlayStation 5 that takes the most advantage of it with its 3D audio. But totally let me know down below in the comments if you are excited for Avatar Frontiers of Pandora and if you're looking forward to playing it on December 7th. If you do, totally make sure you subscribe to the channel and activate that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video.